yeah. To notice when you're fearful, what?
Yeah.
What is happening? What have you, fear is one of those things that, yes, fear is there. I truly believe to make you notice danger and to be aware of it and to avoid it. But it's also, again, a double-edged sword, because it just sits you down and says stop, and you don't ask the questions. If you're afraid of something and can't answer the questions about not why am I afraid, but how is this fear helping me or harming me?
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Is this fear helping me? Well, of course, sometimes it's going to do that, but most of the time our fear is harming ourselves. It's not harming anyone else, it's harming ourselves. We don't take the opportunities, we don't do things, we don't go places, so many things that our lives, because of fear, if it is making your life smaller, it needs to be looked at. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell anyone how to do anything about it, but you have to notice, is this fear expanding your life by keeping you out of danger, or is it making your life smaller and harming yourself? Even to the point of harming your body. What does your body feel like when it's fearful? It is not helping your body.
Well, and too, on that note, if you don't even know that you're in fear, right? Like, I mean, that's the thing, is like, wait a minute, I'm feeling anxious, but remember that's a form of fear. I always said to people, I don't want to talk out of turn, but somebody that I used to know somebody that I used to know that I used to say, I said, listen, I said, like, what are you afraid of? And they said, I'm not afraid. And they said, well, you're angry, right? And well, yeah. I said, so what are you afraid of? Why do you need to utilize your anger in order to be able, because you're afraid that you're not going to get something that you want? I'm not sure, right? And they go, right?
I've been that person on occasion.
Yeah. So when I ask the question, I just go, yeah, well, it's really good to know that this is a route to a lot of things. So understanding that you are afraid gives you those options. Understanding that you may be mistaken your anger, which is a reaction from fear, that we use, and males use it all the time to cover up being afraid, because they don't want to look like wimps. And the big one in male society, if you understand guys, is pussy. I hear that one all the time. It's and we're gonna go there. I dare a man to have a baby like that pussy does. Absolutely. Well, I mean, and again, and I'm not differentiating, but that's how men talk to each other, and how we end up hiding it.
Well, you equate strength to physical strength versus, I get that.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we get into courage and when we get into anger and those words, as we go along, because there's that we revert back to the root of a lot of those words, which are fear and love and all of the stuff that we're talking about now. But when we get into those words, we get into some of those wonderful nuances that we're just sort of hinting at right now, which is it's really fun to be in this specifically. I think that we're sort of tapped out on where we can go with the fear thing until we want to share with people how to get past it.
Well,
right?
what I do want to say is we're going kind of on a little bit more esoteric bent, but that feeling of fear, I learned something. Our physicalness, our biology creates that fear in a number of ways. And I was feeling anxious and fearful, and I was going, I don't get it. Now I am fairly empathic, and I have been known to really get other people's feelings. I had a girlfriend who was overdosing, committing suicide, and I got her physical feelings of drugginess and despair and everything, and I figured out who it was, and so I was getting some of those same feelings of fear and anxiety, and I wasn't fearful or anxious that I knew of. And it was a physical thing. What your heart does when it's fearful, my heart was doing, because I'm older now. And I did have to take a beta blocker to stop the upper chamber of my heart from doing whatever it was doing. And that stopped that feeling. So your body also tells you when there's something wrong. So be aware of all of the possibilities of what fear is. How the feelings present, Well,
it's that again. You are saying like again that's that awareness that we're talking about. That's that our consciousness of, wait a minute, I'm feeling that now. Is this a physical thing, or is this something I'm thinking about, or yeah.
And I had to rule out things that other people don't necessarily have to rule out, And in that process, I finally came to, okay, I guess I better go see a cardiologist, and I did. But you're right, awareness and self-awareness, even if it's just awareness of your physicality, your norm.
And you bringing that up, also something that we missed in the conversation was that. The feeling of fear, right, it's a bunch of chemicals that happens in the body when we're reacting to generally a stimulus, right? But that the body itself can produce those same chemicals and produce that same feeling through no fault of your own, but through a chemical imbalance, or it's because it does happen.
Or watching too much TV. Stressful stuff, or
well, I mean, it can trigger the imaginary fears, absolutely.
No. When it's scientifically proven, when we watch a movie where all these things are happening, our body response is the same as if it was really happening.
Yeah.
So,
No. I agree. That's what I was exactly saying. I was just saying it in a different way. Yeah.
Okay, we can stress our bodies without knowing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think people like scary movies? Is that it pumps the adrenaline. The adrenaline throws the endorphins out there, because adrenaline is a painful thing for your body. So your body, pumps dopamine and all of the other stuff that makes you feel cool.
I've never been one who was particularly fearful of scary movies, and my husband was always one who was, and I will never forget the first time that a scary movie actually got to me. We were sitting in the movie watching the first Alien.
Oh, right, yeah.
And when that darn thing
popped out,
out, and I sat there, and my husband looked over at me and said, "Got you too, didn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, we can leave now if you want." And he went, "Oh no." He said, "Oh no, something finally got you. You are sitting through this thing."
That's awesome.